Okay, so where are we? We're an hour in. Okay, so this is our main thing. We're going to be going over and over this again and again until we're familiar with each category and each thing, and we're making association how it works to each planet. But each planet, it's different. When you're thinking of just the function of memory, like take the moon, you're thinking of the function of memory, your ability to reflect, your ability to feel secure or remember things and feel things, your sympathy links, your need for nurturing or to nurture people. These are all qualities of the moon that can be affected by attitude. But when you start putting the moon into the houses, you don't always see it quite as idealized as that. You start to see how the feelings affect that area, that's this area of the chart, and the feelings create an instability. Because the moon is always changing, it's not a stable factor where it is in the houses. Same with Mercury, it's a restless, nervous factor that comes in and affects these areas. Venus is your choice of what you like or don't like and how they affect these areas. Your attraction and repulsion comes down into circumstances. So we're looking how the soul and the spirit is anchored into the world, into matter, into worldly concerns. And each planet functions differently. So we're going to work with each one. And next week, we're going to start with the moon, and we'll just spend all next week on the moon. Now, I've sent you, I hope you got it. I sent you through Hightail a download link that's a Word file. It's a Word file that's about 120 pages, and each page is a planet in a sign with all its categories. So that has all the possible combinations, all the sun, moon, and all the planets in each of the for each one, each of the 12 signs. And how you use it is you don't fill it all. You're just going to use it for the planets where your planet, what house your planet is in, not signs, houses. It'll tell you the house first. So you're going to be looking at the moon. You can see what house is my moon in, and we're looking at here, seniority, where her moon is in. Where's her moon? Right in the 12th house. Okay, so you'd go through the 12 pages in the Word file. It'd be moon in Aries, moon in first house 1, house 2, house 3, until you get to the page where it says moon in house 12. When you get that, you copy that one page, you highlight it, you copy that one page, and you make another Word file, and you make a new Word file, and you make that, you take that moon in that house, and that's your worksheet for you for the moon. Then you have to fill out the categories, like the signs of how you saw it and how this works for you, or how you see it as working for you. And I really would like you to be able to do this before each class, because once you've made your commitment and try to think it through for yourself, you listen better, you hear better, you can adjust how you're thinking, you can see how you were on, how you were off, and you can add things on it, and it becomes clearer. So it's very useful in keeping this class alive to do the worksheets beforehand. And our second level exam, the first level is just all it's multiple choice about signs, planets, houses, aspects, all the basic factors. The second level exam is all these worksheets. You get all the worksheets done, and you got 80% of your exam done by handing them in. So it's easier to just do these as you go and get them built up. And then by the end of the class, or even class by class, by the end of the class, you can send them all in to me, and I'll keep them in your file. And that's content that goes towards your next level exam. Okay, now, so each planet, although it means a certain thing, we have a certain relationship to understanding each planet and how it's affected by the sign. They'll have different, we're looking at it, using it differently, say how it affects and how that energy goes into the houses or into the subjective side of life or into the objective side of life, or how one projects that energy or reacts to that energy. We begin to start to see the next layer that comes in. And we're learning about each planet differently as we go along with this. Now, this class is just a review to kind of prepare you for next. So on our download on your sheets, you can see sheets who's here. You can see there's handouts, 1 of 5. You can go onto the handout and download the Rasa Houses, Webinar 03 Rasa Houses PDF. And that's the same graph that I'm showing you these pictures of now. Like last time, I'll be sending you, I'll be making the tape of the webinar, and then we'll be sending you a copy of it so you have the videotape of the webinar to study further on at other times. So today, it's just the beginning class. We don't know each other, and I thought we could just play around. That's pretty much what I want to go over. We're going to go through this. This is just an introduction to get us used to the categories: rising, setting, above, below, intuition, feeling, sensation, thinking, what they mean, and then the angular, succeeding, cadent, then the fire, water, air, earth houses, and then the keywords for the houses, and begin to see how the planets work into these areas, each of these categories. And as you do, you get what I call in-depth understanding. It's rather than just, oh, it's in this house, it just means this. No, it means a whole lot of layers of things. And it could mean any of them or all of them. And as an astrologer, you're not going to remember these all the time. You have them in your background. And when you see a planet is being affected or something's being a problem, then you go in and you look at all these layers and you see how you get ideas of how to fix the problem or how to redirect the energy or how to improve how the energy is used. It's like essential healing. Okay. So I'm going to put everybody's everybody's voice on. So there may be background noise. If you've got background noise going on, it's going to come in. But now we're going to be able to talk to each other. And does anyone have any questions? Everybody here. First, I just say, Marika's here. Marika, you there?
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Hi, okay. Nora?
I'm here.
Okay, Sandra? Sandra, are you there? I have you on, but I don't. Okay, Sandra, so hopefully you're connecting at some point here. Terry?
Terry Lynn, yep.
Okay, good. Zara?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, so now, like all the classes, I'm putting out all the information. I'm just talking, I'm mixing the graphs, I'm doing all this stuff. And you're having to take it in. Sure, if you have questions or you want to ask, we can get to know each other, we can have a little interactive thing. And it's hard to contrive this and say, well, what are we going to do? But we got some time because I've finished what I wanted to say for today. And we're starting with the moon next Tuesday. But do you have any questions, Zara?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay, Terry?
No, I would love to hear you just go on a little bit about more, just of the foundational stuff, even so.
Okay. I didn't hear you clearly, sorry.
No, I don't have any specific questions, but okay. I would love to hear you just keep talking.
So, okay, and Nora?
No, I'm good, Robin.
Marika?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so
keep talking.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do when we're going through the classes, you get different inputs or zaps. Write down your questions, make notes of them, and then at the end of the class we can come through, and we can come through and just keep it open then and be able to talk on this or talk on that, and make it a little more interactive. But the interactive doesn't have to be totally academic. You say, what do you think of this? Or this happened to me, or I think this. It can be anything, as long as it's the subject matter we're dealing with.
I hope you feel better, Robin.
I'm feeling better than I was, that's for sure. It's not 100%, still coughing a little, but but I'm able to, we're on a go, right? So, yeah, no, when a cold comes, it usually takes me a week or so to burn it through, and I have to do it because I need my voice. So I was coughing for a couple of weeks. So this is a good news day. Now, I'm just trying to think what generally else to talk about while we're going through here. our next level is just all the aspects. That's talking about the tensions that come around it. So let's just see. Okay, so each of the houses, like we have our keywords for each of the houses. Those are the main meanings for each of the houses. But if you only use that, you need to focus on what you're motivated, what motivates you, how you put your intuitions out, how you put your identity together, what you accomplish out in the world, who you attract and how you react to people, how do you respond to people, and how you take things in and feel okay about yourself or not. So this process of seeing the cycles, of watching the phases and the cycles, the rising, the setting, which is projective and reactive, the social, functional, and subjective. These are huge things. I mean, if you're doing psychology, you're trying to assess for something using these factors, you're not going to really get the same depth or really the insight as to how that soul is coming into life. I have a thing about psychology. In the last 30 years, 40 years, psychology books have been, so many psychological interpretation of astrology has fit together so nicely. So many great insights have come from behavioral thinking and how it links to these types of psychology, and that it's very valid, it's very useful, but it's still limited because psychology is basically atheistic and doesn't include a spiritual side. So it's limited in its perspective. And unfortunately, astrology has evolved strongly to that point where in a few years, you're going to have psychotherapists saying, if you don't have a psychotherapy degree, you shouldn't be allowed to be an astrologer. When really, if you don't have a spiritual view, if you don't have a sense of inner being, you can use astrology, just matter of fact, scientifically, whatever. But the poetry comes out when you start seeing your soul, your heart, what happened across lifetimes, who you are, how come I'm here, why me? It's interwoven with one's spiritual understanding and the being that has come into this life in that energy. So there's a lot of areas not directly associated with, not necessarily directly associated with astrology, but they are, and it's an incredible poetry to include the higher energy. So I think there's low energy and there's higher energy. So everybody has a choice. When you're looking at your houses, you can choose to interpret your life on a more spiritual viewpoint, how you're motivated, what you're projecting out, what you accomplish, how you respond to people, how they've affected you. You can look at that phase, those phases, and see them just in worldly behavioral terms. I grew up here, I went to this school, went to that. You can look at a very practical, objective viewpoint. Or if you look at, I came out of this home, I don't know how I can relate to anyone. I got to go out here, I got to go out there. And you can go out with your subjective view. And there's billions of people on the planet, and there's probably an equal number of people subjective and equal number of people objective, and have very different lives because of it. So